Hey, what's up? It's Anthony Camus, and we're going to talk about picking a real estate brokerage, what makes the most sense for you. If you're a new agent, it's going to be much different than if you're an experienced agent. I should rephrase that, because there are some experienced agents. When I say experienced, I mean time related. They've been an agent for a long time, but they haven't done many transactions. Maybe they didn't need to do transactions because their spouse provided, and then something happened, lost a job or divorced, and now they need to provide. So let's go back to an agent that has not done a lot of transactions, let's say under 5, to a new agent. Then you have the agents that do a few deals every year. Let's say 5 deals a year. And then let's say the agents that do it full time, maybe that do 15 transactions or more per year. And I know 15 doesn't sound like a lot. It's not. But it happens, guys. You're a full-time agent and you only close 9-10 deals a year. So you just got to work at being better at that, right? So don't put yourself down for that. Okay, so new agents or agents that need assistance with transactions, I would recommend a company that brings a lot of support. A company that's gonna really assist you with, hey, I have a listing tomorrow. I don't know how to do a listing presentation. Okay, let's do a listing presentation. Let's set you up with a listing packet. Let me do that. And a lot of the bigger companies like Century 21, Keller Williams, Tarbell, even Coldwell Bankers, or Coldwell Banker, even they have some systems in place to assist new agents or agents that don't have much experience. That's something that I really recommend. Another option would be pairing up with an agent that's experienced, that's willing to give you some of the time and energy to train you. Only catch with that is 9 times out of 10, they're going to want 25% or 50%, or in some cases, a little more. So ask those questions before you sign up. Ask those questions before you guys do a transaction together. If you're an experienced agent and you don't need assistance, there's plenty of brokerages out there that don't charge much for a transaction. And what I mean by that is your conventional big companies like Keller Williams, they'll charge you 60-40. So 40% goes to the brokerage and 60% is what you keep. That's before Uncle Sam takes his split. But being that you're self-employed now, independent contractor, your tax situation is yours. There are ways that you can structure your taxes a certain way to not pay so much, because it's so expensive your first few years to get your business up and running, and it's not expected that you're going to create income on your first few years, even though you are producing an income, because of the expenses. So talk to your CPA about that. Now, here's the dilemma now, is where some of these big companies like Keller Williams are doing caps, $18,000 caps, meaning once you get past they're going to do, let's say, 80-20. Once you get past $18,000 of commissions paid out to the brokerage, they're split, then you're done. You don't have to pay anymore. That's good. But that equates to quite a bit of deals. And I don't have a calculator on hand to tell you how many deals that is. But I'm pretty confident that here in Riverside County, house prices are between $250 to $600. An average price would probably be in the Murrieta, Temecula area, probably about $450, $475 is going to be a median price. It's going to probably take you about 20 deals to reach that cap. So a lot of agents aren't going to hit that unless you're a top producing agent that does that does pretty well for themselves. So there's the brokerages that only charge $500 per deal. Those brokerages, you have to have experience because they don't have so much support. Some of those brokerages are like the Allison and James, Exit Realty, Signature. Those are some of the locals in the area that they provide service such as that. From what I've heard, I haven't experienced it, but those brokerages, they do provide some sort of training. I heard that Signature does a pretty good job at providing training. I heard, I'm not sure, that the environment is not the warmest. Some of the agents, especially some of the top producing agents, are cold shoulder. I'm not sure. I've never been there. I've never done that. I don't know, but that's what I've heard, and I've heard it from a few different people. And some of the agents that have left there have told me the same thing. So, it is what it is. Nothing, we're not putting any brokerage down here. I'm just giving you guys information. Exit Realty, Allison James, I've heard good stuff about them as well. Just a different strategy. I believe Exit doesn't do so much training. Allison and James, same thing, not big on the training. They're more of pumping out transactions. And from what I gather, it's about $500 per transaction, and that's pretty much all you pay. Allison James out here in the river. So it just depends, really, guys, where you're at. For me personally, I started with Century 21 Preferred here in Murrieta because I wanted the trainings, I wanted a good environment, and that's exactly what I got. The training probably wasn't the most complex. I feel like we did a lot of the same training. I feel like we do a lot of the same training over and over and over again. However, it is geared more towards new agents. So definitely, I'm well versed on purchase agreement, which is great. And if you get too much further than that, as a new agent, you're going to definitely need to follow up with your manager. And that's what I did. Was any question I had, I was at my manager's desk, like, hey, what do we do here? What do we do? What do we do here? What do we do here? And that's really beneficial to have a manager in your corner that's ready to and willing to talk with you. It makes you a priority, which they did. And we're able to get through these transactions. I handled every situation like an expert because I had expert assistants, and I had Century 21 backing me on every transaction. So that's what I wanted. That's what I needed as a new agent, and that's why I went with Century 21. Now at this point in my career, I am paying still pretty decent split to my company. So now it's to the point where I need to revisit my split, even though I'm not producing the numbers that they want to bump me up to the next level. I feel that I'm not just an agent, I'm also a team player. I participate in a lot of events. There's all sorts of things that I do and I feel is an asset and a value to the company. And I've been there for a little while now, so that's a conversation that I need to have. What would I do? What's my goals long term? Being that I'm an experienced agent, I know contracts very well. I've always been the kind of guy that reads every single page of the contract and know them better than anybody else. But I still fall short because there's so many contracts that are out there. So at my point in my career, and this might be you as well, is I do a good amount of production for a single agent that really does not work a ton of hours because I'm so occupied with my personal life. And but I'm very, very systematic with my systems. I'm very systematic with my business, and the time and effort that I do put into my business are very, very effective. There's no downtime. It's all green, green, green time. And what I mean by that is when you look at my calendar, once I punch in, it's green time. You know, I'm calling people. I'm updating leads. I'm moving clients from C to B, B to A, A to A plus. Very strategic. I don't come to work and joke around for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. I did previously in the previous years, but as you get better and better and better and busier and busier and busier and all that stuff comes together, you have systems that you need in place to stay organized, and those systems actually keep you accountable, they keep you effective, and they keep you on track. So at my stage of my career, I do between 10 to 15 transactions per year, and we're in 2019. I have 6 escrows that are supposed to be closing in the next 30 days, and we're barely in the first quarter. You know, actually, we're a couple days past the first quarter. So it's going to be a good year this year. I'm projecting that I'll be between 12 and 18 transactions this year. I really want to push for more, but I have to be realistic with my schedule. I have 2 children that take up a lot of my time, Monday through Friday parent, and baseball for my son every other weekend, and you know, all that stuff. And I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat, so I'm not making any excuses. But at this point in my career, I am looking for a higher percentage on my commission. That's a fact. Most of my transactions I can do on my own with my transaction coordinator, and don't really need too much assistance from my manager or my brokerage anymore. Don't get me wrong, I'm a student at heart, so I go to the training still, even though it's, you know, RPA page 1 or 2. I still go to those, and I always learn something. So I'm a student at heart, but I'm losing a lot of money because of the splits, right? So that's the common problem, and my goal is first to reach out to my brokerage, see what I can do on my side to earn more, aside from producing 20 deals per year. If there's other things that I can do within the business to maybe assist other agents becoming stronger, assist them becoming more accountable, or assist them with some sort of training. I'm not a fan of the grass is green on the other side. I'm a fan of, you know, water where you're at, and you'll see the fruits. Work hard where you're at and you'll see the fruits. But if the formula and the algorithm just doesn't align with your plan, then it is what it is. There are other places where the formula or the algorithm on your splits makes a lot more sense. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Some options that I've experienced personally through conversations with good friends of mine, or other agents that I've watched from a distance, have led me to open up a little bit to an exit strategy if the company doesn't, if the company and I don't grow in the same direction. So I know some managers will say everyone's going to leave, it's just a matter of when. I really do not agree with that. I think that we need to make adjustments for every agent, and every agent is different. You cannot do a cookie cutter 80-20 split or 90-10 or 60-40 for everyone, right? So our contribution to the company, our contribution to our managers, our employer, the owner, that has to be taken into consideration. And if it's not, then that makes your decision much easier, right? So what direction should I go if I were to make a switch? I would go into a direction of EXP, Allison and James, Signature. Those are the 3 most attractive options for me. EXP because there's revenue share, there's stock option, all kinds of stuff. It's a little bit of a pyramid system. I don't like to say pyramid scheme because it's not a scheme. It's a pyramid system in a sense, but what's wrong with that? The guy that brought you in gets a little bit of money from you, and the people that you bring in, you get a little bit of money from them. Nothing wrong with that. And that's a different model that I believe is very, very appealing, and it's going to lock you into a brokerage. That's the one thing that I see the huge benefit is that's going to lock you in with that brokerage, because why are you going to want to leave? If you get $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month for agents that you've brought on, why are you going to want to leave? It's a new company, so that's the only reason that I haven't even thought twice about that company. I want to give it a few years for it to come to fruition and grow and become a mature company before I do anything, because I'm the type of person that I don't just jump from brokerage to brokerage. I like to move systematically. But there's some big guys going there. You know, one of my buddies, Tyson, he's over there. Another one of my buddies, he's over there. A couple other guys went over there. So I'm just kind of looking from a distance. I talked to another dude last month about EXP. His name's David. You know, he's there. A couple other big guys are there. So keeping an eye on it from a distance. Signature's cool. I heard that they have pretty good rates, $500 or so per transaction, or $400. I'm just not sure that the environment will be good for me. I like to feed off the environment, but you never know. You know, those are just opinions of others, and I like to make my own opinions. What was the other one I was talking about? Allison and James. It's kind of the same system as Signature, from what I gather. So I don't like the fact that they don't have offices. So that would probably be my third option. So first would possibly be EXP because of the stock and revenue share. Second would be Signature, and then third would be Allison and James. And then fourth would be just stay at Century 21 if they give me everything that I want. But hey, negotiation, we both lose a little, right? So that's pretty much it on selecting brokerage. If you're new, I would recommend either pairing up with an agent. Sure, you give them a percentage of your commission, but they're showing you the ins and the outs. And maybe you pair up with an agent that's at a brokerage like Allison and James, where you only pay a couple $100 per transaction, and then you split it with this guy or this gal for 6 months until you're familiar with the contracts, and then you're on your own. I would also recommend a big company, Keller Williams, Century 21, because they do a lot of trainings. But you're gonna face that whole struggle with commissions, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, and stuff like that, because they have brick and mortar. So it is what it is. If you're a high producing agent and you don't need certain things, you don't need the trainings, and you do your own trainings outside of the office, and you do your own trainings with other agents, and you do your own thing, then sure, the $500 per transaction makes a ton of sense. And why not make some stock share, and why not have some revenue share, and why not jump in on the pyramid a little bit, right? So that's my tidbit on selecting a brokerage. I know I want to keep the videos at about 15 minutes, but this is a really important one, so I went over about 4 or 5 minutes. We're approaching 20 minutes. I hope this video gave you guys a little bit of insight from an agent's perspective on the business. If you have any questions, just send us a message or put a comment below. Don't forget to like the page. We're trying to build this page. 2019, we want to reach 5,000 subscribers, so help us out. Appreciate it, guys. And like always, if you have any